SimonWoods.com. I have got 7 clarets in front of me, 7 Red Bordeaux, and not just any Red Bordeaux. These are ones from the extraordinarily good 2005 vintage. The best in the last decade? Oh, I don't know. Some people rate 2009, some people rate 2010. 2005 is pretty good too. And I've got everything from bog standard Bordeaux, actually Bordeaux Supérieur, up to Pauillac and a Pomerol. So let's just get in there. Weird thing is there's a range of alcohol levels as well. I mean, this was a vintage when things ripened pretty successfully, but we're starting with one that's just 12% alcohol, and they go up to about 14. Anyway, the 12% one is Château Le Main Martin. This is Bordeaux Supérieur, Merlot et Cabernet, it says on here. Not sure which Cabernet and how much of each, but hey, let's just give it a whirl. Well, it smells like graceful, cedary, mature claret. It's got this slightly, this cedar pencil shavings. It's got this supple fruit, and it feels like there's a joyful vibrancy about it. A bit of raspberry, maybe a bit of strawberry, rather than the darker fruits. If there is the darker fruits, it's more on the berry side than the blackcurrant. Lovely, gentle, graceful wine. It's not trying to assault you, it's not trying to overpower you, but it's just this lovely, cedary, ever so slightly leafy fragrance that's coming through. Bit of chewy tannin there on the background, and certainly a freshness on the finish. Doesn't feel like a wine I want to keep a whole lot longer, but today, pretty nice. Get the roast lamb out for Sunday lunch, pour big glasses of that and enjoy. Next up, another Bordeaux Supérieur, leaping from 12% to 14% here. This is Château les Gravières de la Brandille, Cuvée Prestige, and I'm not sure the percentages here either, but I've got a feeling that from this end it's mostly Merlot, this end it's probably majority Cabernet Sauvignon, but I don't know. And yes, it's a richer, rounder, plummier style. There's a bit of slightly nail varnishy volatility in there, but I've only just opened it. I've got a feeling that that's going to blow off. Behind, yes, rather than that slightly red berry friendly edge of the first one, here it's a bit more darker fruit. So yeah, yes, there's the plums, but it's blackberries, a bit of blackcurrant in there too. Doesn't feel like it's going to be quite as fine boned, but feels like it's going to have a bit more grunt to it. Lots of flavour in there. There's this dark fruit, plush plumminess. If I have a concern with it, it's almost like they've tried to make too big a wine from fruit that was maybe saying, hey, treat me a little bit more gently. So I get that slightly baked fruit character of fruit that's just been pushed that little bit too far and has started to raisin on the vine, and then they've squashed it a bit too much to try and get as much flavour as possible. In the process, got these slightly dry tannins out. Good, but I don't like it as much as the first one. It just feels like it's trying that bit too hard. The first one just felt gentle, simple, confident, and did its job far better. Lezongars, Grand Vin de Bordeaux, Château Lezongars 2005, Premières Côtes de Bordeaux. Got a feeling that this is an illegal label because there's nothing about alcohol, or I think they've just probably put the wrong back label on, but hey, give it a whirl. Back to something a little bit more gentle here. Also, I noticed more of the soiled character coming through, well, minerality if you want to call it that. Here it's expressing itself in an almost savoury, slightly saline way. I mean, we're pretty close to the sea here. And I don't know whether some salt air blows in, settles on the vines, and you get this character coming through. I get it from quite a few Bordeaux, Saint-Julien in particular, but I get it here. And it feels like the fruit has got this plummy, again, maybe more on the red currant rather than the black currant. It feels like it's going to be quite full in flavour, but not trying to overwhelm you in maybe the way that the one before was. It's got the best bits of the first two. It's got a bit more body and flesh than the first one had, and it's a bit more subtle than the second one. And it's also got this, the life beyond the fruit. So it's got this, maybe a little bit of toasty oat still hanging around, but then this generous fruit, this plummy red currant, red berry, and maybe a little bit of the blackberry in there too. But there's a nice clean finish. The finish you're left with, it leaves your mouth refreshed, wanting more. And yes, it feels like they've got enough flavour out of there, not gone too much. A bit of fuller bodied than the first one. Not as full-bodied as the second, but better than both. Really nice wine. Okay, maybe going up a step now, we're at Côte de Castillon, Château Le Peyrat, again 2005, because they all are 2005. Côte de Castillon is, well, at its best it can compete with decent Saint-Emilion. At its worst it's close to bog standard Bordeaux. Let's see what this one is. Well, there's a rich, warm, savoury edge here. Big, ripe, plush, plummy fruit. Plummy, and back to the plummy berries. It doesn't feel like it's quite as extracted as maybe the second one, the Bordeaux Supérieur was. But if I have a concern, it's got a little bit of that slightly dry, horsey character of Brettanomyces. Sometimes it's in proportion with the wine. Here, if I notice it smelling it when it's just open like this, it may be that as the wine opens up, it diminishes, or the other things take over from it, but not sure. Let's give it a whirl. Quite a full structured wine, and if my concern about what the Brettanomyces seems to be doing here, sucking some of the succulence out of that plumbing. It smelt nice and as if it was going to be juicy, but then for me the effect that Brettanomyces has is it dries out the finish. So here, rather than something that's got a supple juiciness, it's just a little bit on that dry, ever so slightly tart side. Nice, perfectly decent, but I think that there was a better wine to be made here. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that develops. I'll keep an eye on it. It's 2:30 now. By 6 o'clock this evening, when I start doing the cooking, it might have opened up, or it might have just got a little bit too dry. Hey, let's try the next one. We are in Pomerol now, Château La Croix Taillefer, and 13.5%, so on the fuller side, but not as fleshy as some of the ones here. And it's a bit of an object lesson in Brettanomyces, the difference between these two. They've both got this juicy plumminess to them, but here it feels like there's more succulence and more, even more succulence and richness and juiciness, but there's the cedary edge coming through, and it hasn't got that horsey, ever so slightly feral end that the Côte de Castillon have. It smells really good. It smells like it's going to be quite forward, but also have a more serious side. There's like a earthy background that I think as the wine opens up will come, will stay there and just like act as a wonderful foil for this lovely juicy fruit. One of those you can have your cake and eat it wines. If you like your wines at their fleshiest, drink it now. If you want to keep it, there's this like a background of fine tannins. I don't know whether there's any gravel in the soil here, but there's almost like a gravelly texture that's left at the back, almost rumbling under, this rumbling undercurrent of tannins. And the fruit on top, it has, yes, it's juicy and rich, but there's a gracefulness about it. It's not, it's dainty on its feet. It's not sort of a clod hopping style of fruit, and it feels like, it feels like it's à point now for those who there are no hard edges that need to be resolved. But it's got another 5 years in it for people who want to keep it that little bit longer. We like that. Penultimate wine, Le Haut-Médoc de Maucaillou. And I think the Grand Vin, the big wine of theirs, will have probably a bit more Cabernet in than here. Maybe 50-50 Cabernet in the Merlots. Merlot and the Cabernets. I'm not sure. See if I can dig out information like that, which of course is vital. Back to a slightly toasty, ever so slightly horsey, bretty edge here. There's some reasonable fruit in there. Again, it's on that quite ripe red berry, bit of plums. But yes, it smells ever so slightly flawed, and that Brett is drying out the finish. So yes, there's this reasonable fruit there, but the finish I'm left with is slightly, mean's the wrong word, but it's gone into that dusty raisin character. Okay, but as I said with the Côte de Castillon, there is a better wine to be made. Okay, final wine. It just says Pauillac on the label, and but it says made at a renowned second class growth. Doesn't give you anything away on the cork, but you'll have to do the detective work yourself. If I told them I'd get hate mail and I'd get bottles of Liebfrau milk in the post. And it's strange, we're back to the cedary daintiness that there was in the first wine here. It feels like the previous three have been quite full and fleshy. Here we're back to something that's more on the elegant side. And so I stick my nose in there, and yes, there's the cedar, there's the black currant. It smells pretty classic, but it also smells the least forward of the wines. It feels like the wine that today is sort of showing a bit like I'm not coming out to play. So as I say, 2:30 now, a bit later now. But yeah, it'll be, but come 6 o'clock, it'll be interesting to see what's happened to this. But I better taste it first. Light, polished, cedary elegance about that. There's this freshness, there's a juiciness, and fascinating seeing the contrast between this and the Pomerol. I mean, they're both very classy wines. This is the this is the svelte one. This one is the one that's a bit more bubbly, and they each have their place. They're each very, very tasty. My only concern is that I would like to drink both of them tonight, and there's only me and my wife who are going to be eating this evening, so maybe I'll stick a cork in one of them and have the rest of it tomorrow. If I were to do that, this would be the one I'd be tasting tomorrow, because it feels, yeah, as I say, it feels like it needs to come out of its shell. I think that there are extra layers to be revealed. There is this, again, this undercurrent of lovely, really nice fine-grained tannins, and then this fruit on top, and it's just dancing on it rather than just sort of slumped on it. I can still taste it now. Really nice length and freshness about it. I mean, one of the problems I find with some modern Bordeaux is people are trying hard to make wines from other regions, so they're extracting using lots of oak. Here, it's a confident wine. It's confident in its medium-bodied character. It's not trying to be a full-bodied blockbuster, and it manages to be medium-bodied and full-flavoured, which is for me the way round it should be. I've spoken enough. I'm going to go away and maybe pour myself a juicy little glass of one of them. Which one? I don't know, but that's my problem. See you soon.